me. You're keeping us alive now. You forget about that one. And you keep them coming in. You're doing well, son.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Want to make
What's going on, friends and family? Thank you guys so much for joining Every Day's a Saturday with your host, me, myself, and I, Brian Roof. Hey guys, it's Wacky Wednesdays. This is a time where we go live and we have some fun with the hypothetical questions. But first, we're going to start off with a nonprofit organization and highlight them. But before we even get that far, let's talk about a little bit what's gone on the past week on Every Day's a Saturday. If you guys haven't had the chance to check out the past episodes, we had interview 32 drop on Monday. That was with Army This guy was in the Army, National Guard, Air Force, and he's a singer-songwriter, Steve D. Wilson. That was a great one. You guys definitely not going to want to miss that. Go check that out. It is available on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all those places that play podcasts and all that stuff. Then we had interview 33 drop today. That was with USMC veteran and author Chris Whittemore. That one is a great one. He has a book out there called Terror to Triumph. It is an amazing book. You guys definitely going to want to go check it out. He recounts his experience while he's in the Marine Corps. He was in combat and how life has been since he's been out. And man, I'm telling you what, that was a great one. And definitely want to go check those out. All right. Before we get on to our guest, I do want to talk about something that I got in the mail today. I got a little goodie bag in the mail today. All right. This is a reward for basically calling in to MBR. I'm I definitely call in to them every Friday morning as I'm sipping on my coffee, and I'll call in and be a caller. So I got a little special bag. Got myself a nice little hat. And I do got questions for Joel for sure. Because I had no clue that Joel, it looks like that's the Olympics. Number 50, Joel Hunt. Signed right there. Wow. That's quite awesome. I got my MBR All Access Pass. And look at this. A card signed by Joel. Check him out. I had no clue. No freaking clue that Joel was a skier, man. Like, gosh dang. I am impressed now. Joel, you kept that a secret, man. Nice little lanyard. Nice t-shirt out there. It's great t-shirts for Red Friday. Remember, everyone deployed. Nice freedom shirt. Awesome. Let's see, what else goodies do we got?
That red shirt might not fit you, brother, but I thought you needed one mainly because of the back of the shirt, that poem.
Yeah, I definitely I do appreciate you thinking I was a little guy. I'll take that. At one point in time, yeah, I could have fit in that. Probably around 10 years old. No, I'm just messing with you. But I appreciate it. I love stickers. I definitely put them on I already put one of them on my desktop. Keychain. I mean, what a cool little gift. Love the bag. Really appreciate it. So, hey, you guys take the time, call in, and also there's a number you can call in right there if you guys want to join in and say hello. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our guest, who is from Heroes Hope. They became a 501c here in 2023 this year. They offer temporary housing to veterans that are at risk of becoming homeless or are currently homeless. Along with housing, they work with the veterans to assist in the following: accessing healthcare, mental health services, addiction counseling, and rehab services, setting up VA benefits, resume and interview preparations, finding reliable transportation, reconnection with family and friends, financial planning, and more. Let's meet Sean.
Hey guys, I'm Sean. I'm the president and co-founder of Heroes Hope.
Well, I got it. Oh, I think we're playing tag. Hold on. I'll add him. Here we go. Sorry about that. What's up, Sean?
Hey guys, I'm Sean. I'm the president and co-founder of Heroes Hope. Currently living in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Here. I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah, good. I think our sound delays a little there. Sorry about that.
No worries.
But hey, let's learn a little bit about Sean, man. I know you are a United States Marine. Hoorah, brother. And so tell us about, being a Marine and what got you to be doing the Heroes Hope.
Yes, sir. For all the other Hollywood Marines out there, I was a Hollywood Marine right there alongside you. Spent 8 years. Got out in 2017. My last enlistment, I was serving as a recruiter up in Minneapolis. And so if there's anybody on this call that I put in the Marine Corps, you're welcome, and I'm sorry. After I got out of the Marine Corps, I worked for Target for a little bit, just kind of figuring out what was up with me. And that's when I started my VA disability adventure. I had 4 traumatic brain injuries on active duty, had brain surgery shortly after getting out of the military, been 100% disabled in the VA system for about 4.5, 5 years now. And went through the myriad of mental health services there and surgeries and the broad experience of the VA. And I love the VA, but I would always be frustrated about something. It's a big system. There's a lot of us being cared for. But the most frustrating part for me was I never seemed to connect with the counselors there. I seemed to connect better with other Marine buddies when I'd call them, or other vets that I would meet just through work or whatever I was doing. And so a couple of years ago, I started realizing that my stories, other veteran stories too. We all get injured through different things happen to us. But when we get out, we end in the same place, the VA's pipeline, trying to get taken care of and to bounce back and to jump back into what normal life is now, realizing that our version of normal now is so far away from what normal was when we were 18, 19, when we jumped in. And so we just started standing alongside other veterans, realizing that, man, a lot of veterans may never go back to a mental health counselor at the VA because they couldn't connect with them. They couldn't relate with them. That moment when the VA counselor starts to share, hey, I understand, I get it, I'm here for you. In the back of my mind, I was always saying, you don't though, And so we decided before we became a 501c3, we want to be a group of veterans that are just there to serve other veterans. Doesn't matter if they're Army, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. We've seen things that other people could only imagine. And we can be the best resource for each other. So that's kind of how we started. Right now, what we do, we became a 501c3 officially in January. We try to help those veterans that are on the street not be on the street anymore. I've spent hours and hours on the street just talking to vets and hearing how they got there. And for many of them, it wasn't really their fault. We have issues with jobs, people being let go. We've got issues with, sometimes it's addiction, and I'll come back to that in a minute, but a lot of the times it's veterans doing the best they can and life just catches up with us. And so we realized that, man, no vet should be on the street after the things they experienced, after the things that we've done, and the connections we've made. And so we started asking, how can we work alongside other organizations to provide housing? And so in Tulsa right now, we are fundraising to build some tiny homes. We had a single story, 1 bedroom, ADA accessible housing unit. The plans were drawn up, construction plans were drawn up. They were donated to us. And we've got some land here. So we're just fundraising to build. And the goal is, man, every veteran we meet is going to have a place to live so that they can work alongside us for 6 months to a year. We can help them figure out jobs, transportation, reconnection with family. And I'll tell a couple of stories here as we continue going on of people that we're getting to work with right now. But that's our long-term goal, is safe housing so that veterans have a space around other veterans to continue to pursue restoration and reconnection together.
I love it, man, because, you know, in general, as a veteran myself, there's just so many red stopping, like, things that keep us from going, or you get down the rabbit hole of phone number onto the next phone number. And it's, sometimes you find yourself back all the way to the number you originally called, you know, and they're like, oh, they didn't help you. No. Nor did the other 5 person or the person after that or the person after that. That happens so much. So, you know, you guys providing more of a one-stop, that's where I think, you know, a lot of veterans themselves fall off the treadmill, and so to speak. You know, it becomes like a race and on a treadmill, and they want to see how much they can tire you out before you give up. You know, but it's awesome that you guys are starting to create a space where you eliminate a lot of that kind of stuff, and that's, you know, what deters a lot of veterans and creates, you know, suicide rates. You know, cut out the crap, so to speak.
Yeah, and I really found a passion for this and talking to some non-veterans just about, hey, what do you think is leading to veteran homelessness and veteran suicide? And the words addiction, the words disconnection, they kept popping up. And I realized that people don't really understand where addiction's coming from in veterans. You know, the drinking culture in the military is so much higher than in regular work environments that it's just kind of a common thing. You know, you don't go to a unit barbecue without somebody showing up with a beer and the handle of vodka or whatever it might be. And so already we're created in this environment where it's more regular than it is in other places. But it's deeper than that. I was working with a veteran. He's now in a retirement home. His name's Bill. He's in his 70s. He struggled with an over 30-year addiction to alcohol. And the reason being is when he got back from Vietnam and the post-traumatic stress set in, during the day, he was fine. He was a dad. He was a husband. His family loved him. But at night, when the dreams and the nightmares kicked in, he became violent. There were multiple nights where he woke up choking his wife. He broke his wife's nose at one point. He woke up to his wife pulling him off of his son, and he was beating his son in his sleep because the nightmares were so real for him. So eventually he took to living on the streets because he felt like he was a danger to his family. And while living on the streets, another veteran introduced him to alcohol and said, hey man, I realized that when I drink before bed, I don't have the dreams. And so Bill, he started having 2 or 3 beers before he'd go to bed. And the money that he would make on the street, his first priority after food was, I'm going to get 3 or 4 beers. And eventually he felt like he had control of it enough that he moved back home with his family. And anybody that's struggled with an alcohol problem realized, or will learn eventually, that 2 or 3 eventually doesn't work as well anymore. And that continues to go up. And it became an addiction for him, but he knew that. He knew all the signs of it could lead to cancer and it causes neurological issues. And but just like Jack is saying here in the comments, it was masking his trauma. And it led to something so much deeper that he didn't even want to tackle the addiction issue, because if he did, he was scared the dreams would come back. And the dreams meant violence to his family. The dreams meant an unlovable person. And so it was deeper than just the addiction. You know, it was what the addiction was masking. I've talked to Marines and Army, Navy, just about everybody that on a deployment, they got injured, or even on a ship, you know, they got blown off the ship by a plane and just landed on their back on the ocean and they broke their back. And after surgery, the VA put them on pain pills. And in order to get back to the job and providing for family, they grew a pain pill addiction. And those aren't easy things to break. And so
it's not even just pain pills, man. I heard that there's, you know, they're giving out like 16 different meds to some of these guys. I've talked to, you know, an Army veteran out there. I think 16 or so is the worst I've heard. Like, and I'm like, damn, what kind of a ball of pills is that?
Yep. And so there's just a lot of misunderstanding in the civilian world of what's really going on in the life of these veterans. And so we're trying to to be there, not just to offer the resources, say, hey, we can help you overcome that. We can do this for you. We want to be your friend. The military is built off of the idea of brotherhood. I understand there's female veterans too. Brotherhood is all inclusive in that. But we were built to rely on the people to the left and right of us. Over and over again, as a recruiter, I would tell people the Marine Corps is successful because I can trust the Marine to my left and my right. And I know if I'm hurt, they're going to step in even more. They're going to take over. And so we tell people all the time, that's what we do for veterans. A veteran may never choose to go any further in our program. They may choose to stay in the situation they're in, and that's fine. I want every veteran out there to know they've got a friend. They've got somebody that truly knows and understands what they're going through, has been there, and they have somebody to call no matter what. And at the end of the day, yes, we want to lead them to healthcare, to housing, to jobs, to whatever. But if I know that somebody's living on the street and they're never even going to think about taking their life because they know they can call me or one of the people on our board, that's a success and a victory to me.
Absolutely. I love it, man. That's a great thing. I mean, anytime that you can create something that we all enjoyed, at one point in time, we all, that's the hard part about it, man. You all serve as a unit, right? And you go through all this stuff and you become I know a lot of my best friends are guys I served with. And, I don't have a lot of my high school friends as much as I do my military friends. And that's because, man, we all went through some stuff together that we can totally relate to and talk about, laugh about, cry about, whatever it may be. No judgments passed. But the hard part about it, man, is everybody goes home, and some of us don't live around the block from each other.
Yeah.
There's some of these guys I wish they were my neighbors. You know what I mean? And I could just go hang out with them and chill with them. But it's some of them, man. They're clear across the world.
Yeah.
Well, country.
Well, and yeah, I'm a pastor by day. That's my day job. The organization, we're all volunteers here. Every dollar we raise, it goes back to spreading awareness for veterans and getting care for veterans. But I remember having a conversation recently, and somebody asked me, there was war in Bible times. How come you never read of warriors in Bible times that struggled with post-traumatic stress? Why is this more of a recent thing, World War II and beyond? And so we peel back the onion on that a little bit, and we talk about what that looked like. If you and I as Marines in Bible times went out to battle, when we came home, by Hebrew standard, by Egyptian standard, we were ceremonially unclean. We couldn't actually go into the gates of whatever city we lived in because we were stained by the bloodshed. And so in any of those communities, whatever your religious background was, you had to stay outside the city walls for 7 to 10 days before you were considered clean again. So what did men do in those 7 to 10 days? They sat around the fire. They hunted together. They talked about what they're going to do when they go home. They talked about what they just experienced. They were there for each other. But you fast forward to the world today, you could be in Afghanistan today and back home with your loved ones tomorrow. And yes, you're going to get asked by the VA's team, the screening team, for the post-traumatic stress signifiers and all that stuff. But the reality is there's a disconnect because we saw battle, death, decay, hatred yesterday. And today we're expected to jump right back into our wives, our husbands, our kids, and they're not going to understand those things. And so in that conversation, I just pushed it back to it's community that's going to change the lives for these veterans. It's veteran brothers and sisters standing in the gap and saying, hey, I overcame this, or I'm still struggling with it, but we can do this together.
Love it. Let's go and take a look at your website. I'm going to go ahead and add that on, and let's talk a little bit about that. So kind of run us through. So about you guys.
So this just kind of talks through, and we've been doing what we do for 18 months to 2 years, but officially as a 501c3 this year so that we can start raising funds. Our biggest hurdle right now is if I meet a veteran today that's in need of housing, a job, and transportation, it could take me 2 to 3 weeks to get all those things figured out for them because I've got to find an apartment that's affordable. I've got to find a car that's affordable. We couldn't do that if we weren't raising money. So we started some fundraising opportunities to say, hey, where could we have a fundraising inlet where if I meet a veteran that's living on the street, I can afford to put them in a hotel for 2 or 3 weeks until I get them connected to this housing development. Or I work with some car shops here that they'll take in donor cars and they'll rebuild them. So where can I have a pool of fundraising money that I can afford to do those things for these veterans and provide that vehicle for them? So that's a little bit about how we got to being a 501c3. This right here is the board of leaders. My wife and I, we co-founded this together. My wife was a Marine too. We actually met at Joint Base Little Creek at Norfolk, Virginia. We were both stationed with Mar 4 PAC over in Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii. And so that's where we got married. And we've been having this conversation together for 3 or 4 years about how to move the ball forward on this thing. Shane there, the next guy over for my wife, he's actually an Army vet. At 19, he was driving a Hummer. He had 3 other soldiers in the vehicle with him. They rolled over an IED. Now, this was old school before we had the IED detectors out front and the rollers and everything. And it blew them 115 feet in the air. Killed 2 of them instantly. He and his buddy. It was massive trauma. I mean, when Shane's wife at 19 got the call, they told her, hey, we're getting you a plane ticket to Germany because your husband's not going to make it, and we want you to be there when he gets there. Said he would never walk again, never have kids. Well, Shane, I mean, look at him. He's healthy. He's been rebuilt, but he's gone through all the battles with addiction, post-traumatic stress, you name it. Jeff, next to him, is a Navy veteran that he's got a 18-year-old kid now who's looking to go into the military. And for all intents and purposes, Jeff's military career was pretty great. But he was one of those that was such a go-getter. He wanted rank. He wanted the opportunity to stay in, that he forgot that he had a wife at home sometimes. And he would take the calls late at night when other sailors were hurting or feeling depressed. And although he was putting positive energy into caring for others, it put some tension on his marriage. And so he's a great guy that's helping veterans talk through what does it look like to restore your marriage or to keep your marriage when you're going through some of the struggles, the fights. Jason down there on the bottom, he spent some time active Army. He just retired from the National Guard about a year ago. Multiple combat deployments, 4 or 5 of them over the course of years. Got out as a sergeant major. He's seen it all. You know, he's experienced wounds himself. He's coached families, young soldiers through their first deployments, through separation anxiety, you name it. And so when the 5 of us got together and said, hey, we're going to start this organization, we made a couple of commitments. One, we were going to be a veteran-led organization because we can't do what we do in the way that I explained it to you guys if we're not veterans serving veterans. And that 2, none of us are ever going to take a paycheck for what we do. For us, this is an all volunteer thing. And what we want to do is spend every time available that we have to serve veterans, every dollar we raise to serve veterans. And so there's a few different opportunities that people can support us. You know, you may not be in Tulsa, Oklahoma right now. And if you're not, I encourage you to Google what we do and see if there's an organization in your hometown doing something similar. Because I know in certain cities, Kansas City, for instance, there's something very similar to what we're doing there. And if you've got one close to you, man, I want to encourage you to give, to go and serve there, to serve as a veteran mentor, because that's what we need to be successful. But it doesn't matter where you're at. We're raising money right now to build these tiny homes I told you about. They're 450 square feet. Doesn't sound like a lot, but man, we can fit 1 bedroom with all the furnishings, working laundry, locking doors. It's safe and provides all the amenities so that a veteran knows they've got a roof over their head when it's raining, when it's windy. In Oklahoma, we get a 90-mile-an-hour windstorm once a year that destroys all kinds of stuff. And if you're living under the street, you've got nothing. And so we're raising money right now to build 5 or 6 of those. And our goal is at Christmas time, we're going to gift 5 or 6 veterans, depending on how much money we can raise, with a home that's all theirs. We're looking for veteran mentors, man, men and women that been in the military, that have experienced some of that stuff, that can say, hey, I want to stand beside somebody else. You know, I may not physically be there. I may not physically be able to come in and shake their hand, give them a hug, but I want to be a resource they can call, somebody they can text just to share what I'm going through, you know? So that's a little bit of the wave tops of what you're going to find. If you go to our website, it's heroeshope.net. You can send us an email through there if you've got questions. My contact info is on there. All of that comes directly to the 5 veterans on our board.
That's outstanding.
We sending letters.
You guys got transportation.
Yeah. So I'll tell you about a couple of veterans I'm working with right now. I met an Army veteran in North Tulsa last week. He goes by Alaska. He moved down to Tulsa with a girlfriend for a job. And about 3 months into being in Tulsa, the business he was working for closed down and the girlfriend left him and she owned the car. So struggling to find work. Eventually he couldn't pay the rent. He took to the streets. He's been on the streets for 3 or 4 months. Well, I mean, Alaska, he's a strong looking dude. He's in his 60s, but he's obviously healthy. He's not struggling with alcoholism. He's not struggling with drugs. He's just trying to get a foot back up. He doesn't have any family in town. But you can't apply for a job if you don't have transportation to get there. Even if you have a bus pass, if you've been living under a bridge for 6 weeks and you only own 2 pairs of clothes and you don't have access to a shower, how are you going to pass a job interview? So there's a lot more to it than just finding them a job. And so with Alaska, we've partnered him up with a ministry that offers free showers, free haircuts, free laundry services. I found a vehicle for him through a friend of mine that was donated, and our organization is paying to get the vehicle, all the parts that need to be changed to get it back up to working order so that we can hand him something that works, not something that's going to be a financial burden. We've got an apartment locked on for him that the tenant just moved out. We're just waiting for it to be cleaned. And we're going to cover the first 90 days of that for him. Since we don't have our facilities right now, we do have the funds in order to say, hey, we can stand underneath, give you a firm foundation, and then we'll work alongside you to go. So that's where transportation, housing, jobs, all of that stuff kind of meshes together.
I love it, man. That's outstanding. And love to help you spread this word out, and get it out to the general masses. I have other buddies on different podcasts that I'm sure would love to have you on as a guest as well. So that way you keep getting this out, brother. I mean, the more you talk about it, the more people know about it. And, and like you said, there are those types of things available to others in other states. You just got to go look and see what it may be called or who runs it.
Yep. And if there isn't one there now, we're going to be there eventually.
That's outstanding. I love it, man. So is there any more you want to talk about Heroes Hope?
I would just ask, spread the word, follow us on Facebook. We have a newer Facebook page and we're just trying to spread awareness. People, we can't help if people don't know we're there. We can't be the first resource for somebody if we don't know. And veterans are some of the most well-connected nationally of anybody I've ever met. I could post something on Facebook right now about needing a car, and I might find one in Nashville, Tennessee, just because I posted on Facebook and somebody who follows our page sees it, knows somebody. And there's opportunities that every veteran or every nonprofit listening to you and I have this conversation right now, you may help a veteran in need in a city and state 1,000 miles from you simply because of a Facebook post. And so somebody may never donate $1 to Heroes Hope, but you may offer something that a veteran definitely needs simply because you stay connected. So follow us on Facebook, like and share, ask questions. If you know of a veteran that they may have a house, they may have a family, but they're battling with depression, they're battling with some deep anxiety, they're battling with post-traumatic stress. Just because I live in Tulsa doesn't mean I can't call them, and maybe you've tried. They might, sometimes when it's your family, it's a close friend, it's a little bit harder because you've already got a relationship with them, and it's hard to be vulnerable with somebody that you knew before things happened. But man, we're willing to call people wherever. There's only 5 of us in the organization and a handful of volunteers right now, but I'm going to end up meeting some of you, getting to know you. You're going to end up being veteran mentors, and together we're going to call. We're going to be that resource. And the 22 a day thing has been the same number for far too long. And the programs, right, the phone, the crisis lines and stuff you can call, they're a great resource, but that alone isn't working. And so you and me, every veteran on this call right now, we can be the ones to put an end to that. So, and like I said before, you may not be in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and that's great, but you can be helping other veteran brothers and sisters just by liking, sharing, staying connected with what we're doing. And then, and through Facebook, through email, whatever, if there is a vet you want us to reach out to, let us know. And if we maybe don't know somebody here that can, like I said, veterans are connected. Our board, we've been stationed all over. We might have a friend in your hometown that we work alongside that could reach out to. So yeah. And I mean, if there's somebody listening right now, you've got questions, drop them in the chat. I'd love to answer them, talk about anything. I mean, I get the myriad of questions of how do you do it? How do you work with somebody? So I guess I can kind of explain that. It's easy to say we provide these things, but it's a process, right? There's a great book out there called When Helping Hurts. And these 2 gentlemen got together and they said, man, churches exist all over the world. Nonprofit organizations exist all over the world that are giving out money. They're giving out food. They're giving out coats. but people are still homeless. People are still hungry. What's the problem? And what they realized is what we were doing is offering relief. When I feed somebody, I may be relieving the hunger, but it's that old school mindset, teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And so they just drove this point home of nonprofits, churches, individuals. We have to be doing more than just providing money, providing food, providing coats. And that is, we have to be leading people towards the next best version of themselves. And so the goal with these homes we're building, and even what we do right now, we know it's going to be 6 months to a year. We know those that are battling with addiction, they're going to go into treatment 1, 2, 3 times. It's not going to be the first conversation that fixes it. And so kind of what our program looks like is if I meet a vet right now, I'm getting to know them. I'm getting to know their family. I'm getting to hear their story of how they got there. I'm sharing my story. I'm building that rapport, as we would call it on recruiting duty, building that relationship. But what I'm really trying to learn is, what do they need? Obviously, if they're living on the street, they don't have a home, they don't have a car, they're scrounging to find food. They probably only have a couple of pairs of clothes. Those are immediate needs that I could meet. But what is going to provide that long term? A job could be great, but a veteran that's got a pain implant in their back and a knee replacement probably can't work construction, probably can't stand at a cash register for 8 or 9 hours, and if they're already getting VA disability and that's not enough money to keep their head above water, then there's something else they really need. And that doesn't work overnight. That is hours of phone calls and conversations and helping the veteran to realize that, man, what you enjoy doing, you may not be able to do, but there's something similar. You can sit down and be a carpenter. You don't have to be on your feet the whole time. And so our goal is within 6 months to a year, we've provided those basic needs that we talk about on our website, the things that we can identify, the tangible needs. But the reality is we've created meaningful relationships in the veteran's life, and we've helped build a firm foundation that if we all disappeared tomorrow, or if this veteran ended up never having a phone ever again, they've got the sustainability in their life to know they've got a safe place to live. They've got a car that, yeah, you're going to have to change the oil. The fuel pump's going to go out every once in a while, but man, they can get anywhere to see their family, for work, whatever it might be. And providing those intangible things on the back end to make sure that no matter how long they're in town, no matter how long they're doing whatever they're doing, we didn't just provide a sandwich and pray for them. We provided a means to feed themselves, their family. We provided an opportunity for them to know when they're having a rough day, where they can pour that out, who they can talk to, who they can call. It's not just some random person at the crisis hotline that is passionate about them. But man, it's Sean, the Marine veteran that I spent 6 months getting to know, that shared his story and his struggles. And I know that when I call Sean, he's going to hear me out for reals. He may not be able to give me advice, but he's listening with the heart of true care. So that's kind of how our process works. It's not an overnight thing. And I tell the veterans I work with all the time, keep your chin up, man, stay in the fight. Because you may have been on deployment for 8 months and the 3rd month sucked and it felt like it was going to be forever, but eventually you went home. And that's what I tell them too. If I can't get you a house today, man, I'm going to continue to find the food. I'm going to continue to work at these things, and we're going to find you a place, but let us work alongside you. So just for anybody that's wondering what that might look like, it's kind of how our program, if you want to call it, works.
That's outstanding. I mean, man, when times are rough, it's always nice to have a ledge, to go instead of a slide. You know what I mean? And something you can grab on instead of slippery, keep going down that damn slide. So it's great, man. You're one of those ledges, and gives them an opportunity, and it's important that, we build our foundations and keep our foundations as strong as we can. Once they get rumbled and tumbled, things can, you hit that rock bottom, and sometimes you need that ledge to help you out of it.
Yeah.
And that's what, and we all shoot, man, when we all served, next to one of each other, we had each other's backs and all the time, and shouldn't be any different now today. I know we can't sometimes be right next to each other, but man, this is beautiful now that nowadays with technology, we can even just have these web talks and talk to someone, and have a face-to-face.
Yeah.
And hear their voice and see them and see that they're okay, type stuff. But hey, man, there's a lot of great groups out there that I'll be definitely trying to connect you with. One in particular is our buddy Jason Steiner over at Hero Stock, who, what he does is he throws a big thing with veteran artists. It's music, It's they do cornhole tournaments. It's a great camaraderie, and then he has booths with a whole bunch of nonprofits, and just a big veteran thing. It's up in Nebraska, and September 9th. If you can make it out that way, you should definitely consider going out there. It's going to be one hell of a. I'm going all the way out from California to go to the. So it's going to be a damn one of those events that everybody's going to want to be a part of. And it's something to be excited, but definitely going to put you in touch with them. But before we get into kind of the next segment, we're going to, if anybody out there has any questions for Sean, go ahead and queue those up. And then we're going to go ahead and check out one quick video of a Marine, since we got a Marine on. This is Scotty Frazier, and we're going to listen to some Scotty Frazier. And then when we come back, we're going to go over some hypothetical questions. And if anybody wants to join in, let me know, and I'll send you the link, and we'll get onto some hypothetical questions. And like I said, if you have any questions for Sean, get them queued up, and we'll ask them when we come back. All right, for now, let's go ahead and check out some Scotty Frazier.
Seen her out in LA playing with the band. In Carolina, dancing on the sand. She's a star that's slipping through my hands, like the ones that fell on Alabama. She's red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. She's my kind of girl, 'cause she's red, white, and blue. She'll get you high as the Colorado skies, and she shines like those New York City lights. As tough as Texas, and brother, she just might knock you to the ground if you start a fight. She's red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. She's my kind of girl, 'cause she's red, white, and blue. She'll wait there in the harbor, holding up her light. She'll bring a fallen soldier home underneath her stripes. She's red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. She's my kind of girl, white, and blue. She's red, white, and
some Scotty Frazier, Red, White, and Blue. I have the opportunity of playing him on Gunroom Radio. If you guys don't know what Gunroom Radio is, it is a veteran musician station. That's all we play is just veteran musicians or family members of veterans. So like Scotty, he's a Marine. We play a lot of people with great music. And we do have a special guest here today with us. Another one besides Sean. We got my buddy Derek from Shadow Mark Podcasts, which
Hey guys, how are you?
certainly sure. Let me fix this layout here. It's gonna be better. Let me see here. I'm gonna have to get rid of. Hold on, let me
We
see.
got like 26 of those things, man. We'll figure it
Right.
out. I like it right there. Just keep my face blurred. I like that.
Let me get rid of this hide. There we go. Oh, there he is. Can't go without seeing that cute face.
Oh, thanks,
Derek
man.
is also a Marine. He is another one of our brothers, and he's another veteran musician who also is a DJ on Gunroom Radio. But I'm glad he is always welcome and always joins us and loves to be a part of the hypotheticals.
Yeah, I really
What up,
want to
Derek?
join in. If I have to jump off randomly, it's because my kids are calling. So if I just disappear, that's why.
Yeah, man, what's up? Do you got any questions for Sean, or you want to just get into the hypotheticals, or how's your day
Well,
going?
let's go into the hypotheticals. I'd love to talk with Sean some more for sure at some point. But yeah, I'm excited about the hypotheticals. Let's dive into it. It's your show, man.
Oh no, man. Let's go ahead and knock out some hypotheticals. This one is actually, it's funny, I pulled this out again. This one came from my wife. So I took on, here's the thing. If you guys would like some hypothetical questions right here at Wacky Wednesdays, please send them in to me, message me. I would love to read them here. And yeah, I kind of put your name. This one's for my wife. If you had to eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? All right, Sean, since you're our guest here, first time, man, what food would yours be?
Guilty pleasure of mine is tater tot casserole or tater tot hot dish if you're from up north. It's basically just cream of mushroom soup, the casserole base, cheese, meat, and tater tots. It's delicious. It hurts, but I love it.
You can't go wrong, man. That's meat and potatoes. that's
One
it.
of those that sticks good, man. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. I like that. All right, Derek, what would you what food would you
man.
do?
I think I'd have to do steak, man. I just can't go wrong with a good steak. And if I could just eat steak every day,
Yeah.
I'd be broke, but yeah, I could do it.
Yeah, I'm kind of a foodie guy, so I love some good food. So I mean, picking one for the rest of your
impossible.
It's hard.
life that you got to eat. Now, I will think I think I would go with probably pizza because you can eat that cold. I think I would go with some pizza. I love me some cold pizza. I love me some heated pizza. I go with pizza.
Yeah, and you can make all sorts of types of pizza, man.
Yeah. And I think the Marine Corps made me love cold pizza.
Oh hell yeah,
much
you can.
Before.
I can't say anything.
The
I
Marine
was the
Corps
only one
makes
that
you love
liked
a lot.
those.
The Marine Corps makes you love a lot more things. You know what I mean? It has that
I was
effect
the only
on
one that
people.
liked those hamburger patty MREs.
I hated scrambled eggs and hard-boiled eggs. So I went to boot camp, and I was just so hungry. I was like, I'll eat whatever you give me.
Oh, I started loving hard-boiled eggs.
You eat them
I
all
was
the time, man.
diet recruit, man. Those fools would be like, you can't eat the yolk of it. You know, eat half of this. I'm just like, gosh, dang it.
No,
What
man,
happens?
if you
It makes you
guys,
go into you know, a little bit.
there are more Marines than me that know the secret, but
What's going on? Welcome in. What's up?
There's a side of the chow hall at San Diego that the drill instructors go to, and it's got ice cream.
It sure
And a
does.
couple of times I went in there to get chow for those that were on bed rest, like wisdom teeth yanked out or whatever. And I'd wait till the drill instructors weren't looking, and I'd grab a cup of milk and put some ice cream in it and just pound it real quick and then skedoodle out of there.
You just got to work the system, man. Work that system.
Nice. You sure do. You got to know.
I don't think there's any time that they're not
There's
looking.
a will, there's a way.
I think that,
That's true.
you know.
Man, I tell you, them dudes, I feel like they have eyes on the side of their face and the back of their heads. They can hear you scratch. I mean, I don't know. Drill instructors seem to have that superhuman strength sometimes.
You could be in the middle of the desert.
Think about it. Them dudes go like
no one miles
9
around.
cycles, I heard.
They'd see it.
Yeah, I always felt like I was on an episode of Punk'd because it didn't matter what I did, they knew about it. You know, they had cameras or something everywhere.
I always wondered about. Yeah,
Right?
I never knew.
Yeah, dude. Like, I remember my Black Friday. My Black Friday experience was, you know, the drill instructors come in and they're just losing their shit. Well, I thought everybody, you know, we're finally online and they're just kind of making the rounds, chewing people's ass. Well, they were way down, and they were so up in this dude's ass. I was just like, oh, you know, they're never gonna. You know, I had a like major itch on the side of my face that wasn't even facing towards it. Bro. I think in my peripherals, I'm like, I got an opportunity. I just go like this, as quick as could be. And all of a sudden, I mean, in my peripherals, I could see the snap pop in their freaking neck. And I'm just like, oh no, did they see me? And them fools came running over there, and the one guy snatched me up by my ear and brought me in the middle of the squad base. Like, you ever do that again, I will tear off your hair and shit down your throat. I'm like, oh man, all right. And then just threw me back in my way. I was like, well, I guess this is welcome to boot camp. I got snapped up real quick.
I think it's funny. A Marine just asked 2 other Marines about food, and we start telling boot camp stories. That's just
every time, man. That's just how it is.
Yeah, dude. Girl nut. Yeah, you know, we just all right. So hey, let's go ahead and get into some more hypotheticals. Going to the good old cover. And this is the old school cover. And this is back in the day when we had to you know, spit shine our boots and iron our camis and make them starched with, you know, make them starched so they're about as hard as a rock. I don't think Derek, you know anything about that, huh? Because you got the nice pressed ones already.
To starch them, they were already
All
pressed.
Right. Is
and
there
whatnot.
anything in your life? This one comes from the web, by the way. Is there anything in your life that makes you feel more alive than anything else? We'll go with Derek on that one first.
I think you know my answer, man. Music. I mean, I got to listen to a room full of people sing my song the other day, man. And I've never been so blessed and so happy about something in my life.
I'd have to go with music too.
I could see you at Hero. Yeah, I know. I hate to kind of, but I'm kind of the same way. I feel like there's so much that music does to the soul. It's a good way to start things. I mean, even like when I played football, I'd just, you know, get on some real crazy shit. Or if I was over, you know, in the Middle East, kind of in my little lonesome time, putting on some oldies but goodies, you know, and just it always sets the mood. You know, I think it's a good mood setter. It's good for the psyche. I'm gonna go with music as well. So I think
that's an explanation for it. I think I saw somewhere that our bodies are basically held together by a rhythm. It's just the molecules and everything being held together by a rhythm. So I think we're naturally attuned to music because we're basically just a walking song. I mean, that's really all we are, is just a system of rhythms holding us together. So how can we not connect with something that's all it is?
That's good, man.
Yeah, I love music, and I mean, I know you, man. You definitely sing from the heart, and you know, you're
Always.
doing the damn good things with it as well. I'm glad to keep on going and keep putting out some good stuff, bro. All right, let's go ahead and get on to some more. We got tons. This one, it looks like another one from the internet. What do you want your tombstone to say? Sean.
All right, so I got to
was a
explain.
famous line. What would your tombstone say? I already got that.
I got to explain this before
Okay.
I say it. Anytime somebody leaves like a job or goes to another location, I always make the joke, "You're dead to me." And I make that joke because, you know, in the military, people come and go so often. We're getting moved every few years. Like, I could get a call from somebody I haven't seen in 8 years and I'll talk to them, but I don't need to talk to them every day to stay connected, right? So I've had a longstanding joke that at my funeral, there's going to be one speaker. They're going to come up. They're going to say, "Sean, you're dead to me." And then the funeral's over. So that's probably what my headstone would say.
I love that. That's awesome.
I like it. All right.
I don't even, I don't even know
I
what
think,
mine's gonna say. So Brian, you're up.
Well, let's see. Think about it here. I'll go ahead and go up. Yeah, you think a little bit longer. I think I would like mine to say is don't let the day kick your ass. Make sure you're kicking the day's ass. That's like one of my biggest things. And I think that's what I would want it to say is just, don't let life kick your ass, man. You got to make sure you're out there kicking its butt,
Absolutely. And I love that, man. I always appreciate it when you
All right.
tell us that.
What about you, Derek?
I think mine's probably going to say he should have made better decisions. Yeah, I think that's what it's probably going to say, man.
Nah, man, that's not going to be the defining thing of Derek, bro. Goodness gracious, that's not your end story.
They're just going to be, because it's going to be something stupid that kills me, man.
I promise you better be wearing a dang on cup when I'm around you, bro, because I will kick you in your nuts for, always beating yourself up. Sheesh,
well, somebody's
bro.
got to, man.
Yeah, you do a good job at yourself, man. But you,
yeah, I do a pretty good job. I was an hour late for work
thing.
this morning. I felt like such a turd, dude.
Yeah, but you can't be charged for it,
bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That would have been a good, nice little UA or, probably a restriction or who knows.
I was never late.
Get over Marine Corps has some games.
I was a master skater, man.
Man, I tell you what, my platoons were really serious about that. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. They were serious as shit about that.
15
we'll hold you accountable.
Prior,
if you
man.
were 15 minutes early, you were pretty much late to them. And they'd be like, you would be that one guy showing up to freaking formation. If you were like 13 minutes, and you're like, gosh damn, you overachieving mother. Y'all get it? It follows. You come within 5 minutes, man, they ain't gonna say nothing. You guys are making me look bad here.
You guys probably would have soap beat me.
All right, we got probably time for one more.
Hold the line.
Yeah. All right, we got time probably for one more hypothetical, and then we'll just basically give Sean your last words of anything you want to say. But here we go with this is an easy one from the internet. Are you a dog person or a cat person?
Dog, 100%. 100%.
And I already know Derek.
Yeah,
Derek is dog.
If I didn't have dogs, I'd lose my mind.
Big old beast.
We don't use military.
I'm a dog person as well. Nah, man. Nah. You know what? It's funny actually.
Scratch me up, dude.
A quick story, real quick, is when I was over in the Middle East, in early 2003, we were in Kuwait and came up on a puppy, and we named him Scud. But it was the coolest little thing, man. I swear. Brian Gibson, welcome in. Hello from Project
Love
Die Hard, still in the fight of veterans' lives. All right. Welcome in, Brian.
Love that. Man, we
All
had,
right,
we
Sean.
did have cats though.
I
in
appreciate
Afghanistan.
you, man, coming on. Is there any? You had cat? Oh,
We
yeah.
had cats in Afghanistan. We
Did
fed
you?
them
For
muscle
the
milk
field
and
mice and stuff?
pre-workout.
Yeah, those cats are what I
Oh,
threw so
jeez.
that the dogs would get
Man,
away
these
from.
are some tough ass cats over there, huh?
We're trying to yoke them up, man.
So yeah,
No,
you're
thanks.
definitely doing that. Well, hey, Derek, I appreciate you joining us, man. And you're always welcome on here, brother. And I'll see you probably next Wacky Wednesday. But
Every
thanks
time,
again
man.
for joining us, brother.
Nope. Thanks for having me. Good to meet you, Sean.
Oh, yeah.
See you later,
Enjoy.
guys.
Have great
Bye.
show, man. Great show.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man. Oh, all right. So, Sean, there's us two now. So, before we head off, man, any last words you want to say to anybody? Any last words of wisdom or anything?
And I would just say, we say it all the time, pick up the phone before you make a bad decision, but it really can be the difference, and I've been in those deep depressive days before where it feels like tomorrow is not even something to think about, but I so much appreciate the other brothers and sisters that stood in the gap for me. And so if anybody on here is struggling, man, you can reach out, Facebook, email, heck, I'll even give you my cell phone number if you need it, because one conversation can change somebody's life. And that's true for every veteran we work with. That's true for every veteran on this call. That's true for every veteran and veteran family member that any of us on this station right now are going to come in contact with. And so, in the Marine Corps, we call it never leave a Marine behind. You're told all the time the warning signs and the things and the people to call, but I'm going to get to you faster on my phone than 911 is. And so just keep that in mind, and keep Heroes Hope on the forefront. Anytime you meet a veteran, anytime you think about veterans, anytime you want to know what's going on in the veteran world, Heroes Hope is here to tell the story of those vets and share the changes or the life change stories that are coming out of what we're getting to do.
Well, man, like I said, I really appreciate you coming on, Sean. And everybody, make sure you go out there, check out Heroes Hope and spread the word. And also, buddy, we'll be putting you in touch with other people to get your word out there. I think it's important. And veterans help veterans, and that's a big thing in our community. I'm a big believer in that. No matter what our mission is, whether it be the same mission, we got to be there for each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it doesn't matter what branch you are. It doesn't matter how you served. The biggest thing is keeping us all together, keeping us, down that path. And when we see a brother down or a sister down, we pick their ass up and we say, let's move. We're moving forward.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And yeah, brother. And it's it's good to have the Marines leading the way and doing great things, brother. And you just tack that damn hill. That's what we do, right? That's what we do. But hey, man, like I said, once again, I appreciate you coming on, and we'll see you again, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks again. Talk to you later, Brian.
All right, brother. All right, friends and family. Well, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that showed up and made a comment, were part of the show. I would like to say thank you to Mr. Donald Dunn, Square Table Degenerates. That's my boy Joey, Hero Stock, Mr. Steiner, Jack Blaze, Alec Gage. Who else we got? Valve, Brian Gibson. I want to say thank you all for tuning in, saying hello, giving us a little bit of input. I will see you guys next Wednesday on another Wacky Wednesday and for another great time. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. And remember, don't let the day kick your ass. Make sure you're out there kicking its ass.